This will be a quick introduction to books. It's the activity that is called a book within my courses. The reason it's called a book is because it's a way to just show page after page after page of information. That can also include images, but like most of the features on my courses, it also will allow you to insert like videos and those kind of things within it. But it is basically, a book is designed to be a one-way activity. It's a resource. However, it has a print function. So if you had some information that maybe you got, and I'll show a demonstration of this, that was copyright free and you wanted to share it, you didn't want to make a PDF, but you wanted it to be within my courses, you could create a book, which is just a little pop-up resource that takes the frame, the HTML frame. It is sort of a separate tool within my courses, but it will still fill up the same tab that my courses is on. Likewise, a lesson. A lesson, meanwhile, allows you to have students do certain activities as you wander through it. Both of those are something the student has to basically click into and then walk through, and it is at one step removed from my courses. Books are very simple, and I'll show you real fast how to use those. I'm just going to come down to add an activity or resource, and as I said, a book is a resource because it only shows things. It doesn't have people interact with them besides basically reading them and or seeing them. So I'm going to click book. And the settings look much like most of the My Courses interface. And we're just going to put in a name. And now the description will show up on the first page of the book. So if you don't want to put a long description, because it'll show up on as a header to every page as students go through that. So I'll put that information right here. And then I'll just come down and I'll scroll down. I'll hit save and return to course. And this is going to work exactly like a quiz does, where you actually have to create the topic, then click into it before you can begin manipulating it. And there we go. I'll click into this puppy and it is empty presently. So I'll just put in the same information here again. And I'm going to just come down here, save changes, and this will set up basically as my first page. Okay. The next one I'm going to put in though, and I'm going to have to turn editing on for that. The next one I'm going to put in will then allow me to put what's a subchapter. It's just basically a simple indent. And I'm going to go to turn editing on. And the controls are self-evident, where here's the settings trash, whether it's visible or not, and whether you can add a chapter. So I'm going to click add a chapter, and I'm going to make this a subchapter, and I'm going to make this the first story. And what I've done here is I have basically cut and pasted from archive.org this copyright-free version of this particular story, but I hit right-click and I hit paste as plain text. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'll save changes, and you'll see this will be an indent. So the first thing I did was put in sort of this title element. I then did a subchapter, so that's inset a little bit. I'm going to make the next one just normal chapters, as you can see, and then I'll add another chapter to that. And once again, I've added that element, which will turn out to be the next chapter. In this case, another short book by Dickens. And I would go through and I would do that, 6 times, obviously. But I'm going to turn editing off. And then what I'm going to do is show you what it looks like from the student's perspective. Okay, and this is the student's view, and the student will just come down here and they'll be able to click into it. So it is sort of a nice little package if you have this kind of a task where you want to share text with individuals. But if I go to print book, here's what it does. It will then show me the entire text version, so they can view it as one long scroll, or they can just send it to an actual printer. But you do take the point that there is some advantage in doing that, and of course it's easy to put in images and that kind of thing with the standard HTML features with which you're familiar from other areas. Thanks so much, and you have a good day.